Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Great one awakening here on Twitter posting this. Russia is moving closer to a gold standard. Now, we heard news about that a few weeks ago, but it looks as though they are trudging forward. Moscow is working on linking the price of the ruble to bullion and other commodities. Security Council says this from just yesterday, April the 26th, so this is the most recent update on this. Russian experts are working on a project to create a two-loop monetary and financial system in the country. Secretary of the Security Council, Nikolai Patrushev, said on Tuesday in an interview with a Russian paper, he explained that the project involves the provision of the Russian currency with both gold and a range of goods representing a currency value. As a result, the ruble exchange rate would correspond to its real purchasing power parity, he said. To ensure the sovereignty of any national financial system, it is necessary that its means of payment have intrinsic value and price stability and is not tied to the dollar. So another blow to the U.S. greenback. And, probably another blow to our pocketbooks, considering we are still paying for goods and services at inflated rates at the grocery store and at the gas pumps. Another important condition for Russian economic security is the restructuring of its economy based on modern technologies, he added. Down here, he says, we are not against a market economy, but the West allows other countries to be its partners only when it is beneficial for them. He stressed, noting that Russia's development should be based on its internal potential. So Russia, moving forward on the gold standard, they were not bluffing. This is what they are doing. And so what is that going to mean for the greenback, and what is that ultimately going to mean for cryptocurrencies, namely Bitcoin, considering it is the most popular crypto, but not just Bitcoin, of course. Many other currencies will be valuable for other reasons, and using cryptocurrencies as traditional currencies is going to become more popular in the West for these exact reasons. Okay, so we also have Watcher Guru here on Twitter posting this. Brazil's Senate has approved a bill to regulate Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. They are not the first country to do this. They will certainly not be the last country to do this. But the trend, the overall trend, and I might be sounding like a broken record, this country's accepting Bitcoin and this one's making it legal tender. But guys, the bigger picture here, the bigger picture scenario is that since more countries are doing this, the likelihood of this becoming a fact of reality in the country you live in is getting greater and greater, or the fact that you might have to transact in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies one day is also becoming bigger. I mean, for a crypto community, people watching the channel, you're likely already invested in cryptocurrency. So I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir. However, it is important to note how far we've gone and where we are continuing to move. Bitcoin has been widely adopted by governments across the globe, as this article also states. While some are still regulating it, a few others have given the coin legal stature. Brazil has taken things slow and decided to regulate the market first. Earlier today, Brazil's Senate made history by bypassing the country's very first bill that aids in regulation of cryptocurrencies. The bill was first proposed back in 2015 by the federal deputy, and years later during a session preceded by Senate President. The Bitcoin law managed to garner clarity. And so here's a quote. I want to congratulate the rapporteur of the project, Senator Iraja, for the approval here in the plenary of the Senate for this important bill. Furthermore, a thumbs up from the Senate. Was it good enough for the Bitcoin law to be put into action? The bill must further garner a green signal from the Chamber of Deputies, following which President Jair Bolsonaro will sign off. So Bitcoin law has to pass a few more hurdles. Nevertheless, it is looking more and more likely that it will be passed and that it will be utilized as legal tender in the country of Brazil. So that's interesting. El Salvador, obviously, one of the first to conduct the Bitcoin experiment. Now we're seeing more, especially Latin American countries. It's really interesting. They likely took hints from El Salvador and wanted to replicate a similar model. And so this is why we're seeing a lot of Latin American countries specifically moving towards this trend. Also, if you are a country that is against the Great Reset, you are likely going to make a similar move. Kind of like the guy Pierre Poilievre in Canada, fighting to become the leader of the Conservative Party. He's very pro-Bitcoin and very anti-Great Reset, unlike the guy that's in office today. In Canada. Okay, I'm going to keep going. T-Hole Bet at XRP posted this: fourth largest bank in the world, and Ripple customer cuts remittance fees by 80% through subsidiary and Ripple customer bank of Ayunda and subsidiary bank Danamon. Okay, so this is just coming out of Nikkei Asia. MUFG, which is a Ripple partner, is to cut remittance fees between Thailand and Indonesia by over 80%. This is huge. 80%, obviously, leveraging RippleNet technology to do so. How else would you be able to make a profit? So just a quick blurb on this. Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group will offer a cross-border money transfer service at around 1/6 of the cost of the existing service as the Japanese bank joins the fray of low-cost money transfer businesses. Considering all the competition there in Japan too is running on RippleNet, at least a lot of these banks already part of the RippleNet consortium, or rather, sorry, not RippleNet consortium. The bank is a consortium of Japanese banks leveraging RippleNet. Considering there are so many that are doing that, and these banks are in competition with one another, it is no surprise to me that we are starting to see this competitive wars between banks to grab market share, to grab a customer base, because once everybody's on a level playing field, well then the customer has to still decide which bank do I want to go to. And obviously by lowering fees by 80%, this is definitely going to get people's eyebrows raising. And so do I go with MUFG or a competitor? Well, what other factors are involved in customers making decisions? I guess that is a personal opinion, but money talks. And if you can cut fees leveraging RippleNet technology, obviously that is going to be one of the number one factors for customers to want to move over to your bank. So interesting, we're seeing this in Japan with Ripple partner MUFG Bank. Wanted to thank T-Hole Bedict XRP for posting that. And this guy's from the Wrath of Kahneman. He was actually responding to Darren Moore's tweet up here with regards to UPI. And for those of you guys who do not know what UPI is, well, first, okay, let's go over the definition. Unified Payments Interface. This is a new payments interface that is being integrated in the South Asian region of the world, in particular India. So Unified Payments Interface is an instant real-time payment system developed by National Payments Corporation of India, facilitating interbank, peer-to-peer, and person-to-merchant transactions. And so the markets include India, Bhutan, Nepal, Malaysia, Singapore, the UAE, United Arab Emirates, international by cross-border payment agreements. We also know that there is a RippleNet connection to this. And so UPI has a tremendous impact on the Indian payments landscape. Simple mobile-based accessibility, ease of use, and changes in customer behavior due to the pandemic have led to a significant increase in UPI transactions, of course. Users have started buying goods on e-commerce platforms and making payments at retail outlets using QR codes. Partnerships with other countries like Singapore, the UAE, Nepal, Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, Vietnam, Philippines, South Korea, and Bhutan, which has deep ties to Ripple, to enable low-value transactions and cross-border remittances through UPI will contribute to this growth. And just as a response here, the Wrath of Kahneman did mention this. Haha, I was just about to post this. Navin Gupta says blockchain can create a UPI for the world. So he links the article here. I'm not going to go over this article for you guys today, but I will link it in the description of the video if you're interested in it. Just wanted to bring up this Navin Gupta quote here. Now, Navin Gupta, a Ripple employee in the MENA region. UPI changed the way we send money to anyone in India. Blockchain can enable the creation of UPI of the world, says Navin Gupta, MD of South Asia and the MENA region, and works for Ripple, as I mentioned. Banks' biggest fear is that they will lose control over money, but that is wrong, say experts. So banks are still going to exist, but not on their terms. There is going to be more of a level playing field, and RippleNet technology obviously contributing to this. And so it's looking as though it's not going to be so much about a monopoly as it has been over many, many decades, especially in countries like the United States. And this is why, banks like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs were always very, very resistant at the beginning. We're going to bring in banks, we're going to bring in smaller players, and they're all going to be democratized on a level playing field utilizing this kind of technology. In this case, they're talking about UPI, Ripple integrated. So I thought that was interesting. Also wanted to mention this, guys, with regards to the World Economic Forum and that video I did, it seems like last week, but I know it was probably about a month ago now. Chris Larson talking about the Bitcoin code and talking about why that had to be changed, linked this idea to energy usage and energy consumption with Bitcoin and climate change, of course, the carbon footprints. Well, isn't this interesting? Coincidence? Probably not. Lael bringing this up, just what Chris Larson spoke about a while ago. The World Economic Forum just posted this video today, about 10 hours ago, and I'm going to play it for you guys, and I'll just read along. I have it on mute here. Experts have found a way to cut Bitcoin's carbon footprint by 99.9%. They say a change in the Bitcoin is coded could virtually eliminate the environmental impact. The world's most popular cryptocurrency uses more electricity than Denmark. All right, Bitcoin alone could help push global warming above 2 degrees Celsius if it becomes widely adopted. Bitcoin's huge energy demand stem from the way its transactions are verified, as we know. Powerful computers compete to solve complex math problems in a process called mining. As we know, the winner is rewarded with Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin has soared in recent years. Yeah, okay. This has incentivized miners to buy more and more powerful computers. Okay, so we're getting the whole story here. That consume increasing amounts of energy to run and cool a new campaign. Change the code says this doesn't have to be the case. So this is what Chris Larsen was talking about specifically, the change the code campaign, and that instead of computers to crunch numbers, miners could stake their own Bitcoins to verify transactions instead, eliminating most of the network's energy demands at a stroke. The campaigners say this could be achieved with a basic changing in the coding, along with the buy-in of around 30 key figures in the Bitcoin universe. Rival cryptocurrency companies like Ethereum have pledged to switch to this approach, which it says is 2,000 times more energy efficient than mining. What do you think about cryptocurrencies, asks the World Economic Forum. So I wanted to bring this up mainly because we had just heard Chris Larsen talk about this, and now the World Economic Forum is parroting the same sentiment. Of course, it is no surprise that Ripple and Chris Larsen are part of the World Economic Forum listed on their website. And so, the messaging obviously is going to be congruent. And so isn't it odd, or is it really, really that odd that we're hearing this same message from, sources that have aligned ideologies? And the other thing I found interesting is that the World Economic Forum is not saying that Bitcoin should be abolished. It's saying that, okay, if we switch the code, maybe we can still use Bitcoin. Things that make you go, And another thing that got me scratching my head, making me go, From Art of Information, down the rabbit hole. You guys remember, this was the cover of The Economist back in September of last year, September 2021. And we were all focused on this because of the cryptocurrency aspect of it. I did a video on it. I'll see if I can find it. I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner if I can. But what Art of Information has noticed, Russia versus Ukraine. Look at what the rabbit is wearing here. Very, very similar to the photos that we're seeing here in Russia. And look at Alice, wearing yellow and blue. And where have we seen those colors numerous times? All over the internet and everywhere really these days. Yeah, the Ukrainian flag. Now we know The Economist is owned by the Rothschild family, the biggest banking family in the world, on planet Earth. So it begs the question, what did they know before we did? Again, things that make you go, I mean, it does give me confidence, don't get me wrong, that we're invested in one of the cryptocurrencies that is going to melt faces, as they say, moving forward throughout this decade. Ripple and Chris Larsen are partners with the World Economic Forum, and we know the Rothschilds and the World Economic Forum have deep ties as well. Bringing me to this, guys, Michael at Val5 Links. In a 52-43 vote, this just happened, by the way, on the Senate floor on Tuesday, U.S. lawmakers have confirmed Lael Brainard as vice chair of the Federal Reserve System for another 4 years. So this is good news. After weeks of delay due in part to partisan obstructionism, the United States Senate has confirmed the nomination of Lael Brainard, a member of the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors, as the next vice chair of the central bank. So she's confirmed for 4 years, ending that term would end in January of 2026. Brainard was one of 4 nominees waiting for approval since Republican lawmakers in the Senate Banking Committee boycotted a February committee, which would have sent the prospective vice chair's nomination to the full Senate. Why is this important? I've done a few videos on Lael Brainard in the past, and so I will link this link. I basically just did a search on my YouTube page here for Lael Brainard, and you can find those videos there. I'll see if I can actually link this page here in the description of the video if you guys want to watch this. Both of them were from about 2 years ago. Lael Brainard tries her best to avoid saying XRP will be the standard. That was one of them, and the other one, Lael Brainard says the Federal Reserve created FedNow for Americans, and we were questioning at that time if it will use XRP. Well, here is an update. Now, this clip is not the newest clip, however, just uncovered by Fame21 More. That is Darren here on Twitter, retweeted out by XRP Snakey. Ripple's XRP will be the new global reserve digital currency. And again, major credit to Fame21 More here on Twitter for his research. Listen to this.
You mentioned the speed of cross-border payments and the opaqueness of that process, and I guess it's also error-prone to some extent with SWIFT. Santander seems to be trying to approach it with a partnership with Ripple. Just curious what your thoughts are on that.
So I do think that of the use cases out there, cross-border is one of the most compelling. We know that intermediation chains cross-border are long and quite opaque, and they're slow, and they can be quite costly. So my sense is that technology with the appropriate safeguards could make a material impact and likely will. And it may well be through a partnership model. I don't want to pronounce on any particular approach, but there are a variety of partnerships out there that are trying to innovate and to reduce frictions and increase transparency for those cross-border transactions. In my sense, I'm fairly optimistic that there are some good solutions out there that don't necessitate a global stablecoin.
And I am going to leave it at that. We do not need stablecoins exclusively. Of course, RippleNet was created to transfer value, anything of value from point A to point B, poof, in an instant. Lael Brainard confirming this, of course, on the heels of this vote from just yesterday, April 26th, confirming Lael Brainard as the vice chair of the Federal Reserve for 4 more years, bringing us into January 2026. I mean, we're gonna have to come up with a solution to combat inflation, to help provide the United States with a means to transact, especially if Russia is moving closer towards the gold standard. Doesn't sound like Vladimir Putin is bluffing. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.